It is often said that good businesses solve problems. But what if those businesses have problems of their own? Who's going to solve those? Luckily, we are in the office of one company that has been doing precisely that. I am Asmita Singh and I am delighted to be in conversation with Mr. Abhishek Rai, CEO of Finarb Analytics Consulting. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. So, Finarb Analytics Consulting is a solution provider for businesses across various industries.
True.
What more would you like to tell us about it?
Apart from creating solutions through technology, we mostly solve problems using artificial intelligence and machine learning. We have been working across various sectors like pharmaceutical, retail, finance, and manufacturing. But our core strengths are mostly into solving unstructured problems. So whether we do it through technology or AI or somewhere else or through a pure consulting approach. For example, let's say if we are working in the healthcare and pharmaceutical industry, we are not concerned with developing some software. Rather, our concern or our end goal is, for example, increasing medical adherence so that patients stick to their prescription regimen. Because, for example, if patients don't stick to their prescription regimen, what happens is a lot of people down the line is negatively affected by it. For example, the patient themselves, the healthcare providers, the insurance, everyone is affected by it. So that is kind of a problem that we solve. Then, for example, we would work to reduce readmission rates in hospitals, because again, that's a pain point for the insurance as well as for the patient. So our overall goal is to improve the patient's journey, affect the patient in a positive manner, and thereby help our clients across various touch points in the value chain. That's our objective. So it is not necessarily a technology or AI problem as such.
All right. So when did Finarb first begin and how has your journey been so far?
So we started in 2018. At that point of time, it was a couple of guys that we started, obviously without some sort of patronage or clutches of strong network connections. And being here in Kolkata, which is, so as everyone knows, right, that in India, Bangalore is a tech capital and all that. But being here in Kolkata, that was slightly a problem. But in my experience, if the work is good, if the solutions that we provide are good enough and they really add value to your clients, it doesn't really matter where you are set up shop. And that helped us grow organically. So clients referred to another client, they referred us to other clients, and that's how we have grown so far. So currently we are around a team of 30 plus people.
That's great. So I would just like to know why Kolkata. Is it because it's your hometown or was there any other specific reason?
One particular reason is that it's my hometown. That's one. Also, I believe that given the type of education institutes that we have here, let's say Jadavpur University or IIT KGP or ISI Kolkata, being very nearby, I thought that there would be no shortage of talent here, and there was not. That's one thing. And also initially, since we are bootstrapped, so because the living expenses, everything is low, the salary structure is also relatively lower. So initially that was the point of choosing Kolkata. But later on, ultimately, the salary structure, everything evens out. And the main thing why we are still continuing in Kolkata because of the talent base that is available here.
That's amazing. So, Mr. Rai, you mentioned that it's not just about using AI and machine learning. You also have an approach where you just simply consult with the businesses. But needless to say, AI has had a massive impact on the world and definitely on your business as well. So when you first started, did you expect AI to take off the way it did?
Yes, I actually kind of did. So when I started with AI, before starting Finarb, I had a long freelancing career. And I was also working with Impact, HSBC, and some other companies in this area only, in data analytics, machine learning, in these areas only. It is quite apparent that if we talk about any industry you take, for example, retail. If you think about retail, like online retail, e-commerce, how do you decide what steps to take in future based on the past? And that's what AI or machine learning is about. Now, if I talk about e-commerce, hundreds and thousands of people are coming to the sites, interacting with the products, viewing the products. For some time, it's huge data that is being recorded. Same goes for, let's say, pharmaceutical, where if you capture data from a patient's journey, if you truly capture the data from a patient's journey, right now in US, for example, real world evidence or real world data is coming into play, where you capture like data from Apple watches and every touch point. So that also generates a huge data. So that is where machine learning comes in. It is not possible for a human being to really analyze that data. It's not possible. So that's where machine learning will come in and has come in a big way, where it can identify the patterns in the data. And that's what machine learning is about. The decision making ultimately will always be in the hand of human beings. So if machine learning can generate and show us the patterns, or AI can show us the patterns, then we as SMEs or consultants or people with intelligence basically will try to interpret those patterns and give recommendations to the business. So that would have been the eventuality in any business, because any business would generate a huge amount of data with time. And that is where hints for your solutions for the future lie.
Right. So you rightly mentioned that it's not possible for human beings to do what machines are doing these days. It would take a lot of time and not be as cost effective. And businesses are eager to adopt AI in order to reduce cost, which would eventually mean letting go of human jobs. So how do you deal with this anxiety around AI taking over human jobs? And you've mentioned, Finarb has mentioned previously that they believe in using AI ethically, and that technology should always be an assistant and not a replacement for human beings. So how do you integrate that into your solutions?
So I will divide AI into very broad two categories. One part is like the initial classical statistics, machine learning that we used to do earlier. So that part was always done by, let's say, statisticians or people with understanding of statistics and having a programming background. That part is there. Now the question that you're asking, where human beings can be replaced by AI, that has come to the forefront after this LLM, large language model, and ChatGPT came into picture. And which is not a statistical tool per se. It has been trained on a huge chunk of text. So it basically is extremely good at conversations. It has been fed a lot of knowledge through, I don't know what data, maybe Wikipedia text or whatever it is. So it knows a lot of stuff, and it can relate to, based on a question you ask, it can relate to what you're asking and churn out an answer. And sometimes it seemingly gives reliable, good answers. But now the point is that the people who are initially doing classical statistics, etc., they will not be replaced. They cannot be replaced. The reason being, if you today ask ChatGPT one question 5 times, it will give 5 responses. So reliability is a big problem. And it is not a problem, this is not a problem that these large language models can immediately solve. Okay, so for example, even if you ask a human being a question 5 different times, they may give 5 different responses. But that is not true for a technical person. If you ask them to write a program to add 2 numbers, they will always come up with the same thing. So we can take a decision when to give the same answer and when to give a different answer. Currently, that reliability is a big issue with large language models. But large language models can definitely help human beings to, let's say, rectify a small piece of code, to get some, let's say there is an unknown algorithm someone has not read of, to get the gist of it. I'm talking in my area only, there can be hundreds of other use cases. Or draft an email, things like that AI can do. So in our organization or in this domain, if people are skilled at what they do, if they're dedicated and have that thirst to learn more, study more and work more, then they will not be replaced. But yes, there are some jobs which might be at risk. But then again, if AI is not reliable, there is no point to it. For example, if you might have heard that content developers were being replaced by AI. Mm-hmm. But then again it turned because Google etc. has also created programs so it detects which content are being developed by AI and downgrading them. Then again you have to bring back human interaction there. So I don't think if you're good at your job, AI will be able to replace you, at least not in the visible future.
So just a matter of upskilling and making
Yeah.
sure you have skills that cannot be replaced.
True.
Right. So we've spoken about AI, and apart from just the AI scare, the world has been through a lot more. We just been through pandemic. There's a war going on, and all of this has a direct impact on the economy, which has a direct impact on all the industries that you're associated with. So how do you find solutions for these kind of problems?
So because of the pandemic and because of this war, I don't think recession has set in properly, but there is a fear of recession. So when these fears come normally, then businesses become conservative in their growth and businesses try to take cost-cutting measures. Now, the majority of the industries that we work in or the clients that we work in are a necessary part of the entire human value chain. For example, working in pharma or working in finance, they will not shut down shop, right? People can afford to, let's say, not buy a pair of sneakers or not buy some apparel because of saving issues and all that. But people will take medicines, right? Or people will get admitted to hospitals, or if people have submitted their funds for like pensions and all that, they have to generate revenue so that people who are pensioners, they get paid. Banks have to ensure that the loans they give out to that are being repaid. So these are essential part of the value chain. You cannot do away with this. So our role changes to mostly understanding the risk of the business and providing risk solutions to the client so that they can continue, they have the business continuity, they can grow as well as contain the risk. So for example, we can help a particular pharmaceutical manufacturer in developing their drugs through drug discovery, molecule selection, etc. We can help, let's say, a banking client with understanding who are the better people to give the loan out to, so that they do not, go beyond the risk level and finally collapse. So, with times, as the times change, the problems do change. For example, in a booming time, maybe the bank will, any organization will say that, okay, create a solution for me so that I can get more and more clients. I might take a loss, but I need more clients and so on, and I can spend on that. But if it is a recession or a bad times, then it mostly diverges towards risk. In fact, in those times, the need for AI and ML grows even more.
Could you elaborate a little bit about why?
Yes, so if you look at the last recession, proper recession which happened in 2008 with the subprime crisis, that happened due to proper mismanagement of risk. They were taking a lot of useless bonds, useless mortgage bonds, collating them together and readjusting the risk profile and selling it as a high-rated bond. So a bunch of useless bonds will still be useless as the individual components. So the thing is, at that point of time, if you looked at the job market, because I was in the job market then, let's say around 2010 or 11, there was a huge demand for credit risk analysts. The demand was not that high before the recession. There was very little of those jobs. After 2008, there was a huge amount of jobs in that market. And that was because the regulations came in. Basel came in. They said that you have to manage your risk, model your risk in this manner. They had some guidelines. It was purely statistical. So we had a huge upsurge of those jobs. So in risk management, the application of AI ML is exceedingly high. So that's why when in bad times, especially, the use of AI ML goes towards that. market risk, credit risk, operational risk, and so on to ensure business continuity. So, in short, in good times, it is about business growth. That is where AIML comes in. In bad times, it is about business continuity. That is where AIML comes in.
Right. So you work across a lot of industries, and you just mentioned that perhaps retail had a bad time, especially apparels and a lot of things that are not essentials had a bad time during the pandemic, and people have started purchasing those things again. But the pharma industry or the tech industry had a boom during the pandemic. But now we see there's a funding winter for the tech industry. We see massive layoffs across tech companies. So what has been your experience working with these industries in such turbulent times and such fast changing times, I would say?
So, I will answer the tech part first. So, in the tech industry, yes, there has been a huge amount of layoffs, but that is also partly because of uncontrolled and unmanaged growth that some companies decided to take, and abnormally high salary structure that was given. I don't know what was the reason for that. Maybe there was some urgency in doing some project or something. But the salaries were taken to an unsustainable level. You know, salary is always what you're paying from the company side, what you're paying given what value you're getting. So that value-based thing, salary per value they're getting from the candidates was abnormally low. The value was very low. And they grew like anything, and that was not sustainable. The entire tech industry in India or even in the neighboring countries are based on the fact that we provide equally good talent to the developed nations, but at a much lower cost. I think I read somewhere that it is around, like, if you spend $1 there, and so if you spend $1 here, the same way you can live in US, for example, at $22. 22 times the purchasing power parity or something like that. So the thing is, you get the equal value, but at a much lower cost. If you take salaries to unsustainable level and go close to US salaries, then you can't sustain that longer, right? That is in India. In US also, for example, Twitter, the downsizing that happened, they were taking a huge amount of people and people were complaining they had no work to do. For future scope, they're taking huge number of employees. That is not how you should grow. So we didn't face the problem because this happened because of the funding. So if useless, you will see a lot of startups have gone to shut down shop and they had got a huge amount of funding. So if you get useless funding, you take that, you basically take in more people. But then if your business model is not strong enough, your intrinsic value is not strong enough, you're not providing value for whoever your clients are, then you'll have to shut down shop. And then these people will have to be laid off.
Right.
So we have grown bootstrapped. We are not seeking, or we have never looked for any funding. So we are bootstrapped, so we haven't grown that way. And our hiring process is also based on the capability of the candidate as well as the cultural fit. So the attrition is pretty low. So didn't face that problem. Regarding to your question in the pharma industry, yes, in the pharma industry also there has been layoffs, but we have seldom seen them shut down shop. So yes, there will be layoffs. People do work more during bad times, but I personally, in our office as well as in our client's office, haven't seen much of layoff.
Right. So the advice has been sound, which is why they have been able to mitigate these.
Yeah.
Great. So because you work with so many industries, I would really like to know which one is the most challenging to work with: pharma, finance, retail.
There are various aspects to it. Pharma and finance are in a way the hardest to work with. There are a couple of reasons for that. Number one is the changes in technology as well as regulations are relatively frequent. So we'll have to keep up to date with that and deliver solutions based on that. That is one aspect of it. Second thing is data security is a huge concern. So for data security, as in patient medical history, protected health information. For finance also, payments, cards, etc. These are a very, very big concern. That's the second aspect of it. And the third aspect of it is the cost of your wrong decision is very high, because it can affect someone's health, or it can affect someone's savings, or their investments. So I would say that in retail also, for example, there can be many use cases. You have payment information there as well. But in retail, if you're looking for apparel and I suggest you a wrong one, and even if you buy a wrong one, okay, I mean, you might be angry or something, but
It's not life altering. Yeah.
It's not life altering, but losing someone's finances, entire investment, what happened with the subprime crisis, or losing due to some fault or due to some error affecting someone's health, that can have grave consequences for our clients and as well for us. So I think that will be the most challenging to work with, because we always have to be on your toes so nothing goes wrong.
Right. So, apart from all these concerns that we discussed, I think another major one is sustainability, the impact of businesses on the environment and carbon footprint. And there's increasing pressure from governments around the world also to decrease your carbon footprint. How do you help companies achieve these kinds of goals?
So, in the manufacturing area, whichever manufacturing, maybe it is an automobile or maybe in the pharma sector, in the manufacturing area, we always need to, we always focus on predicting the energy usage and work on predictive maintenance so that machines run smoothly in an automated way with little human intervention. With human intervention comes breaks and pauses and so on. And that causes energy efficiency. So our contribution to that area is managing the machines in terms of their smooth functioning, so that energy usage is kept at a low, which in turn helps our clients reduce their carbon footprint and carbon emissions. That's how we contribute to that.
Great. So you've told us a lot about Finarb. We would also like to know a little bit about you as the CEO of Finarb. What does a workday look like for you?
I normally have a long working day. So basically I wake up at 9, come to office by 11, spend some time with my family. I have a son who is around 18 months old.
Oh, wow.
So I spend some time with him. And then I come to office at around 11 and leave at around, let's say, 9:30, 10. Have dinner, again spend some time with family, and then start working at around midnight and continue till around 4 or 5.
So does work ever stop for you? Or?
Not really. Yeah, on weekends it's completely off. I keep it completely.
So what do you like to do on the weekends?
Go out with my family, watch a movie. I watch a lot of movies, in fact, huge lot of them. And I also play FIFA a lot. Not that I'm good at it, but I play a lot. And I also read a lot, like fictions and all that. I also read a lot.
That's great. It's important to unwind, I think, for everyone. So because you work for such long hours and you were able to start your own company, it's safe to assume that you really love what you do. So did you always want to become a data scientist? Because it's not something that we are aware of when we're younger. We tend to see a lot of younger children wanting to be things like, an astronaut. But when did you realize that data science is something that you're interested in and would like to pursue full time?
So I think before graduation, I did not have any such aim. I'm not even sure what I wanted to do. But after graduation, I went for my MBA. But one thing is, what MBA taught me was it gave me a holistic picture of how businesses work, the entire value chains and of different industries, the laws, the business laws and the company formation laws, also statistics a little bit, In MBA, they teach you a little bit of statistics, operational research. So it gave me a holistic view, and that gave me an understanding that statistics, etc. At that point of time, AI was not the buzzword. It was mostly statistics, machine learning, data analytics. So I realized that this will have a huge impact on business, because business will generate data and they will not know what to do with the data. And I was relatively strong in mathematics, statistics, and programming. So I thought that could be a good option for me. I was not necessarily in love with the subject, but as I learned more, worked on it more, I fell in love with it. So yeah.
That's great. So, has it been difficult from freelancing to working for other companies to starting your own company? Did you ever feel like it's getting overwhelming and you don't think you can do it anymore? And what has kept you motivated to find the success that you did today?
So, being overwhelmed and that's like every day. That's every day. Okay, otherwise I would not be up till 4. Okay, that's one. And second thing is, what keeps me motivated is mostly how we can improve the solutions that we're doing. I mean, even if let's say we deploy something for the client is okay with it, we would still give considerable effort to improving that, and how to create new solutions that will impact the end user or improve a patient's journey, talk to the clients about that. Just study more so that I can find applications of that in business. And that's not only me, a lot of people in the team are like that. I mean, you come to this office at 2 a.m. or so, you'll find someone studying or doing something.
So because you spend so many hours thinking about all these problems and trying to find solutions, you also dream about that sometimes. Have you ever solved a problem in your dreams?
No, not really. Because I sleep less, I have a very sound sleep. So I don't dream much.
Nice. Thank you for sharing all your valuable insights with us. Thank you for telling us about Finarb and your personal journey as well. It was a delight speaking with you. Everything that you shared goes to show how knowledgeable you are about the industries that you are working with and about the work that you do as well. So Finarb was always bound for success, and I congratulate you for getting all the recognition and success that you're getting.